Hi everyone, the continuation of the fundamental unit of life. Yes. So in the last session, I completed the cells has special three organelles, right? So the first one is nothing but the plasma membrane. This plasma membrane is otherwise called as cell membrane. So this membrane is the outermost covering, outermost layer of the cell. Okay, so now what is the use of this plasma membrane? So this plasma membrane we are calling as semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. Okay, so from this heading we have the answer, right? So here we are saying selectively permeable membrane. Why we are calling this one as selectively permeable membrane? Because it permits only the important things which is essential for the cell, and it allows the unwanted things to go out. Okay, so the plasma membrane allows or permits the entry and exit. So whatever things are important to the cell, it allows those things to inside, and if it found anything is not important to the cell, so that will it will send those things outside, right? So it will selectively permeable, so that the word came selectively permeable membrane. Okay, so here for example we are taking the gases. Okay, so here gases, that is oxygen, is very important to the cell for respiration and do all those things, right? So here gaseous exchange also is happening by means through this selectively permeable membrane by means of a process called diffusion. Okay, so carbon dioxide or oxygen can move across the cell membrane by a process called diffusion. Okay, so here what is diffusion? It will penetrate this membrane and it will go inside or it will come out. Okay, so you can have a question how the gases exchange is happening in the through this semi-permeable membrane. So what is the name of the process? The process is nothing but diffusion. Okay, and here it's like osmosis. So what will happen? The substance from the higher concentration to lower concentration. If the molecules will move from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? So for example, outside the oxygen content is more, but inside the cell the oxygen content is less. So now here what is the concentration of oxygen outside? More. So the oxygen from outside to inside it will diffuse. So the molecules which move from higher concentration to lower concentration. By the same time, you just think about the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is one of the ways that has to eliminate it from the body, right? So now this carbon dioxide content is more inside the cell. So what it has to do? Definitely it has to diffuse because the concentration is more inside. So it diffuses through the membrane and it will go out. Right? So that is called diffusion. So what is diffusion? The molecules, the movement of molecules from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. Okay, so region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. So this process we are calling as diffusion. By means of this diffusion, what is happening? The gaseous exchange is happening through this semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane, that is nothing but the plasma membrane. Is it clear? Okay, and next one, how the water molecules. So gas, now we discuss about the gas, in which way the gaseous exchanges takes place, right? So now next one, how the water molecules will move inside the cell and to outside. Okay, so here we have to, while we are discussing about this, okay, so here there are three forms are there, right? So the first one, hypotonic solution, right? And then isotonic solution. Okay, hypotonic solution, and then next one is isotonic solution. Okay, isotonic solution, and then the last one is hypertonic solution. So what is this? So here water molecules also will move through this membrane by means of osmosis. Okay, so here we can say a good example for this, how the roots are absorbing the water from the soil and it's sent it to the aerial parts of the plant. In which way? Because the water content is more in the soil. Okay, so now this will be absorbed and the water content is less in the stem part, so that will send it to those regions, right? So now the absorption of water from the soil by the roots, it's sent it to the aerial parts of the body of a plant, so that is called osmosis. We can say a good example. Okay, so from this example you can easily understand what is osmosis, right? So now here we are keeping any one cell. For example, we are taking animal cell or a plant cell. Okay, and we are keeping this any one of the cell in sugar solution or salt solution, right? So to prove how the water molecules are moving through this plasma membrane, to prove that we are doing this one. Okay, so here what is hypotonic? So here hypo means less. We know very well hypo is less. So now what is less? So we are taking water and we are just adding one sugar or salt in the water. So now that is the solvent, right? So now the solvent, the substance what is dissolved in the water is less. Okay, so water is more, but the substance inside the water is less. So that is hypotonic solution. But what is more? Water content is more. So now we are adding one cell in the water. The cell not having that much water. So now where the water content is more? In the beaker. So now from the beaker to the cell, what will happen? The water will move. How we will find out the water is entered in the cell? So it will bulge. It will swell up. The cell will swell up. For example, we are soaking some seeds. Chana, dried chana in the night, and we are seeing in the morning, we can see that it will increase in the size. So what has happened? The water molecules enter inside the seed and it makes the seed to swell, right? So the same thing we can find it out. So what is the solution there? Hypotonic solution. Hypo means less. What is less? The dissolved content in the water is less, but water is not less. Okay, so the molecules which move from beaker to the seed, it makes the seed to swell. So that is we are calling as hypotonic solution. As a result, while we keep the plant cell or animal cell in the sugar or salt water, that is hypotonic. Then what will be the result? We can find that will swell up. Okay, and isotonic. Iso means same. The water content in both the seed as well as in the beaker is same. So there will be no movement. So we will not find any changes in the size. It will be remain same. The size will be remain same. While we are coming to this hypertonic, hyper means more. Okay, what is more? The dissolved content, the substance which is dissolved in the water is more, but water is not more. So in the beaker, the water content is more, less, but the dissolved substance in the water content is more. In that solutions, if we add any cell, what will happen? The water will move from the cell to the beaker. Okay, so what will happen? Shrinkage. The cell will shrink. Clear? So now, as a result, while we keep this any one of the cell in the hypertonic solution, what will happen? The cell will shrink. Is it clear? So these are the, by means of these experiments, we can easily find out the water will move from inside the cell or outside by means of semi-permeable membrane. Hope so you enjoyed this video and the concept, everything is clear for you. I'll meet you in next video. Yeah, thank you.